There is something that I really want to get off my chest here, and it's hourly and daily pricing. It is no good to anyone at all. Stop charging by the hour and by the day and charge on value. If you don't know the value that you're able to provide your client, you didn't ask the right questions in the meeting. So start there, fix that first. When it comes to pricing, what you really need to do is make sure that the pricing makes sense and that you've demonstrated that it is worth that amount of money. And the only way that you can really do that is by finding out what their budget is in the first place. So this does take us to a little bit of a realm of trying to figure out exactly what that budget is. And without going into too much meeting strategy, but you just simply ask the question. You don't have to tell me what it is, but do you have a budget? So you can first start by just asking them outright, what is the budget? And if they get a bit weird about it, then you can say, you don't have to tell me what it is, I just want to know if you have one. And at that point, they'll often maybe start to give you an idea. So part of the reason why you don't want to charge by the hour and by the day is because you're underpricing yourself. There's almost no chance that you're going to be in a situation where the work that you can do or the value that you can provide can be divided into a set number of hours. It doesn't really work like that. And also, the work that you do and the advantages and the shortcuts and the knowledge and experience that you've picked up in all of your years of doing what you do, why should they be the beneficiary of your skill? So if you've learned to do something quickly, why should that be their benefit? I'll give you an example. I can't remember the woman's surname, but I think her name was Paula. And she famously sold the Citigroup, the American bank, a logo for $1.5 million. And it took her 5 minutes and she sketched it on a napkin in the meeting. So if she was on an hourly rate of, I don't know, let's be stupid, $100,000 an hour, that's a terrible rate to charge when she could have got 1.5 million for it, which she did, because she sold them the value of having that brand. The fact that it took her 5 minutes to actually sketch it out is just a testament to her knowledge and her experience and her ability to distill an entire brand and an entire company ethos and everything else down into a simple logo mark. And that's her skill. That's your skill. That's your ability to do that and know when to take shortcuts and when not to. So when you're pricing things up, don't charge by the hour and don't charge by the day. Figure out what their budget is. If they don't have a budget, help them come up with one that's realistic and then work to that budget. And if they don't have a realistic enough budget, no hourly rate was going to be any good anyway. So just charge on the value and all of the shortcuts are your benefit. Start to reap those rewards. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in 20 years' time still charging by the hour, still charging by the day, and you're not going to have actually got yourself anywhere. Demonstrating this pricing is really, really very simple. Don't confuse your potential client with lots of information in your pricing tables. Keep it very, very, very simple. The less stuff you've got there, the better. It's purely a reference. That's all it is. It's just numbers. So here's how I would lay out your pricing page. I would have a testimonial at the top that has some relevance to some sort of return. So, wow, we're so impressed. We brought in X amount of business in X amount of days. Worth every penny. You know, bring in something that's money related that softens the blow of the amount. And then you simply just write the amount and a very, very quick one-line description referencing the thing. So if you've got a couple of things in your pricing table, do that. What you want to try and avoid doing, trying to oversell it to justify the amount with stuff that's technical. So we touched on this earlier, keeping away from technical stuff. You want to do that again here even more so. So just don't mention anything technical. Again, I said it earlier, confused people don't get out their wallets and type in credit card numbers. So don't confuse them, keep it simple, keep it top level, and just simply use the pricing table as a means of reference. There's a couple other things I want to touch on here. One is optional items. Now in Better Proposals, you can allow them to upsell themselves by clicking a button and ticking on, if you like, another option. So say for instance you were selling them a marketing strategy, you might have like, a video report, shot by our CEO or whatever. That's going to be $200. Might have something else that's a little bit more money, and they can choose these things themselves. That's a much, much, much better way of beefing up your transaction value or the total for that particular proposal than anything else. It's always going to work better that way. And a little trick with this, try and find out what thing really makes them tick and don't include that in the base price, and let them upsell themselves on it, because they always will. The next thing is packages. Now, for some reason, people love selling in packages, and I'll try and bracket this. If you're selling something very, very low end, let's just say you've got a basic value option at a supermarket, you've then got like the mid-range option and then like the finest or the premium option. So you've got 3 different things. They're probably going to vary by, I don't know, a couple of quid or a couple of dollars. So the choice and the decision making is actually very, very simple there. But when you're trying to choose between a $2,000 option, a $5,000 option, and a $10,000 option, you end up with this paralysis by analysis thing going on. And no one's going to make that choice because the risk of getting it wrong is too big. So you need to take that risk away from them. And the easiest way to do this is simply just don't give them the choice of packages. So while we do allow you to have package selling in Better Proposals by marking it as a choice, and it allows them to then choose between one of however many products you have in your pricing table, I don't recommend it, because the higher the price, the more difficult it is, and you don't really want to be doing that. Also, it puts you in a very, very weak negotiating position, because people will often try and get you to cherry pick the stuff that's in the higher plans and put it into the lower plans under the proviso of, I'll do it today and sign it off if you include this, this, and this, which of course ruins the whole point of having it in the first place. I hope that's given you some idea on pricing and how to price and how not to price things up, and specifically how to do that in Better Proposals.